The air hung still and warm, a gentle humidity clinging to everything like a soft, grey blanket. The pressure was light, barely there, and the wind, if there was any, was a whisper, a secret shared only with the tall grasses. It was a day that seemed to hold its breath, waiting like a drowsy giant. The first light of the day had barely touched the distant hills, and the valley below was draped in a mist that smelled of damp earth and wild thyme. A single water buffalo, calm and immense, stood knee-deep in a small, reflecting pool. Its skin was the color of weathered stone, patterned with dark swirls and mossy greens. Its eyes were deep and dark like polished obsidian, and it moved with a deliberate, unhurried grace. It dipped its head, slowly, deliberately, and swallowed a mouthful of water, letting it trickle down its throat with a quiet, contented sigh. The water rippled outwards, creating small, circular reflections of the sky, a pale, watery blue.
It stayed like this for a long time,
just dipping its head, drinking, and then raising its head again, slowly, deliberately, to blink at the sky.
The only sound was the occasional gentle ripple in the water and the quiet rustle of reeds growing along the bank.
Then a small brown rabbit hopped into view cautiously. It was a young rabbit, its fur soft and downy, its nose twitching. It approached the water buffalo, not with fear, but with a quiet curiosity.
It sat on the bank, a small, fluffy island of brown, and began to groom its whiskers, meticulously cleaning each one with its tiny paws. The water buffalo didn't move.
It simply watched the rabbit, its dark eyes full of a gentle patience. The rabbit continued to groom for a long time, occasionally pausing to nibble on a blade of grass, chewing slowly and deliberately. The air smelled of damp earth, wild thyme, and the slightly musky scent of the buffalo's skin. After a while, a small, grey heron appeared, gliding silently over the pool. It landed with a soft thud on a branch overhanging the water, its long legs dangling down into the pool. It stood perfectly still, its sharp eyes scanning the water, searching for a small fish or insect.
It didn't move, didn't make a sound, just waited.
The buffalo continued to drink, slowly, deliberately, its movements mirroring the heron's stillness. The rabbit continued to groom, its movements precise and repetitive. The air grew even warmer, and the mist began to thin, revealing more of the valley. The sun, a pale disk, began to rise above the hills, casting a gentle, golden light across the water. The light shimmered on the surface of the pool, creating patterns of light and shadow.
The buffalo raised its head again and blinked slowly, deliberately, at the light.
A tiny dragonfly, iridescent blue and green, sipped past the buffalo's head, hovering momentarily before darting off again. It circled the pool once, twice, and then disappeared over the reeds. The rabbit shifted slightly, settling deeper into the grass. It yawned, a tiny, pink yawn, and curled into a ball, its fur warm and soft. It remained like this for a long time, undisturbed. The sun continued to rise, painting the sky with shades of pale pink and lavender. The air was filled with the quiet sounds of the valley, the gentle rustling of the reeds, the occasional chirp of a bird, the distant murmur of a stream.
The buffalo took another drink of water, its movements slow and deliberate.
It raised its head and looked out across the valley, its dark eyes calm and peaceful. A small group of wildflowers, cornflowers and daisies, began to open their petals, drawn to the warmth of the sun. They swayed gently in the breeze, their colors bright and cheerful. The rabbit shifted again and closed its eyes. It lay perfectly still, its breathing slow and even. The air smelled of warm earth, wildflowers, and the buffalo's skin. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow across the valley.
The light was soft and gentle, bathing everything in a peaceful haze.
The buffalo continued to drink, slowly, deliberately, its movements mirroring the flowers' gentle swaying. A family of butterflies, monarchs, their wings of vibrant orange and black fluttered around the wild flowers, landing briefly on their petals before moving on. The air grew even warmer, and the scent of wild thyme intensified. The rabbit moved slightly and stretched its legs, yawning again. It continued to groom its whiskers, meticulously cleaning each one with its tiny paws. A single bee buzzed lazily around the wildflowers, collecting pollen, its movements slow and deliberate.
The buffalo took another drink of water, its movements mirroring the bee's careful work.
A small, gray stone, smooth and worn by the water, rested on the bank of the pool. It gleamed in the sunlight, reflecting the colors of the sky. The air was filled with the quiet sounds of the valley, the gentle rustling of the reeds, the occasional chirp of a bird, the distant murmur of a stream. The sun continued to rise, painting the sky with shades of pale pink and lavender.
The light was soft and gentle, bathing everything in a peaceful haze. The rabbit shifted slightly and curled up into a tighter ball, its fur warm and soft.
It remained like this for a long time, undisturbed. The buffalo continued to drink, slowly, deliberately, its movements mirroring the rabbit's peaceful slumber. A small, brown beetle crawled slowly across the stone, its shell gleaming in the sunlight. It moved with a deliberate, unhurried grace. The air grew even warmer, and the scent of wild thyme intensified. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow across the valley.
The light was soft and gentle, bathing everything in a peaceful haze.
The rabbit shifted slightly and took a deep breath, its breathing slow and even.
The buffalo took another drink of water, its movements mirroring the rabbit's peaceful slumber.
A small, gray stone, smooth and worn by the water, reflected the colors of the sky. The air was filled with the quiet sounds of the valley, the gentle rustling of the reeds, the occasional chirp of a bird, the distant murmur of a stream. The sun continued to rise, painting the sky with shades of pale pink and lavender.
The light was soft and gentle, bathing everything in a peaceful haze.
The rabbit moved slightly and closed its eyes. The buffalo continued to drink, slowly, deliberately, its movements mirroring the rabbit's peaceful slumber. The air grew stiller, the heat more intense, the scent of wild thyme richer. The light softened further, becoming a warm, golden wash. The sun was now high in the sky, casting long shadows across the valley. The air was filled with a deep, quiet contentment. The buffalo finished its drink, slowly raising its head and blinking at the sun. It stood for a moment, perfectly still, surveying the valley with its calm, dark eyes. Then, with a slow, deliberate movement, it turned and walked away, its massive body moving with a quiet grace, back into the deeper part of the valley.
The rabbit was still asleep, curled up in a ball of soft fur.
The air was filled with the quiet sounds of the valley, the gentle rustling of the reeds, the occasional chirp of a bird, the distant murmur of a stream. The sun continued to rise, painting the sky with shades of pale pink and lavender.
The light was soft and gentle, bathing everything in a peaceful haze.
The valley remained still and quiet, a place of perfect peace and tranquility. It was a simple day, a day of slow, deliberate movements, of quiet observation, of gentle contentment. And as the sun continued to rise, it was a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful things in life are found not in grand adventures or exciting events, but in the simple, quiet moments of being, of observing, of appreciating, of just being asterisk. The lesson, whispered on the warm breeze, was this: to find peace, look for the beauty in the ordinary, and move through your life with the same quiet grace and deliberate intention as the water buffalo, the rabbit, the heron, and the bee. Let each moment be a gentle, deliberate act of peace, and as the warmth of the day deepened, so too did the feeling of quiet contentment, wrapping around you like a soft, warm blanket.
Close your eyes now, and let the peace of this valley settle over you.
Let it wash away any tension, any worry, any unrest.
Just be.
The light is fading now, and the air is growing cooler. Sleep comes easily to those who find peace in the simple things. Sleep now.